All right. Welcome back to another episode of the MiniBrute Cookbook tutorial series that I'm doing, where we go through the MiniBrute 2 cookbook, we try all the recipes, we see how they taste, let's play around, have some fun. Today's episode is the Tech Stab by JB Arthus. Carefully tune VCO2 so that it plays one octave and a minor third above VCO1. Playing a C3 on the keyboard should result in VCO2 playing a D sharp 4. LFO2 is used as a modulator for the filter resonance, adding a rhythmic quality to it. Change the LFO2 rate to get different patterns. This is kind of what I got. I feel like that's pretty close to what's trying to be accomplished here, or at least it's a, I like the way it's coming off right now. I like this in particular. So, of course, we're going to adjust. You're going to adjust to taste when you build this, make this patch on your own. But let's get into how it works, what's going on. So as always, we're going to start with a neutral patch. Get all this. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Put that to there, put that to there. Just leave that open. Put that back to neutral. Do-do-do-do-do. Maybe. Yeah, LFOs can be fine. They can stay where they're at for right now. Okay. So, as always, let's start with some sound, which is going to be the square wave today, which is particularly nice to me. I like it. Now we're going to bring the first thing we're going to do is take it an octave down. So something like that. I don't know if that's exactly an octave, but it doesn't need to be. It's for example, right? So, right? Now, oscillator 2, we're going to need that on saw wave in the fine mode. Can start by tuning it together, but then you need to take it a minor third above VCO1, right? So if VCO1 is playing, this is a C, then we need VCO2 to play that note. Right? I guess technically that would be a major third. I don't know my music theory. Don't at me. I'm a drummer. Leave me alone. Wait a minute. I like to tune it to where the beating kind of stops. And, that kind of sounds good to me. So you might have to, it's going to take a little bit of messing around to really get that one. Now, the other thing is this is supposed to be square, not saw. Oscillator 2 will be saw wave. Oscillator 1 will be square wave. Because the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some pulse width. We're going to change the pulse width, and we're going to modulate it with LFO1. Now, LFO1, based on the recipe, is supposed to move very, very slow. But if you do that, you don't really get much change. So I like to turn that up a little bit, so we actually get some movement, right? We don't want the beating between the oscillators. We want that to be nice and clean so that we can get a little bit of movement from the LFO and make it subtle and make it nice. That way it stays sharp, right? Okay, so now let's engage the filter. So we're going to leave it in low pass mode. Take it almost all the way down, right? But then we're going to use the filter modulation to adjust that. So we're going to use a little bit of decay. Give us a little release here. Okay. Add some resonance. Some ring modulation. Or resonance modulation. I'm not sure which one that actually is. And then now, if you want to, you can add a little bit of your pressure modulation to get some kind of interesting characteristics out of it. Now you'll also notice that the ring modulation is wired, or is pre-wired to LFO1. So as the LFO1 goes up and down, the ring modulation goes up and down with it. You can hear it, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to change that because we don't want that to happen. We're going to use LFO2, but we're going to invert it. Why? Not exactly sure, but I know that's what the recipe says to do. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so LFO2 into the inverter, out of the inverter, into the filter resonance modulation, or RM, ring modulation. I'm not sure which one it is. Right? So now we get that. That's where you get your rhythmic change from, right? LFO2 is used as a modulator for the filter resonance, adding a rhythmic quality to it. Right? Now we can also do something like use the saw wave. Now in this case, the inverter is taking the saw wave, and instead of, as you can see on the diagram, the saw wave is naturally programmed on the LFO to go down. When we use the inverter, it's actually going to take it and go up. So in this case, we can hear what the inverter is doing. On the square wave, as the recipe prescribes, it's kind of like not readily apparent what's happening here. Now that I'm thinking about it, though, I understand what's happening here. So here's what's happening. The pulse width modulation is based off of LFO1. So that's able to move at one rate, which the LFO2 is now modulating RM instead of LFO1. But why the square wave? See, I thought it had something to do with the offset from the pulse width modulation, but then I just realized that's from LFO1, not LFO2. So I don't, it's not readily apparent to me why square wave as opposed to, you know, whatever, but like, it still sounds cool in a sequence, you know what I mean? The last thing we need to do is open up the envelope, the AD envelope. So we're going to be back in trigger mode again, and we're going to increase the decay a little bit longer so we get some movement out of that sound. And again, it'll sound something like this. I'm going to slow it down again, down to 8th notes. Right? So now basically, that's the sound, more or less. You know, and then it's just, you know, adjusting to taste, find the flavor that you like, you know, with the LFO2, find a rhythm that, you know, that, you know, something fun you can also do is to use like the random, you know, the sample and hold in the LFO2 and use that to adjust where the ring modulation ends up. You know, there's a lot of different fun things you can do with this, but this tech stab, just that particular kind of like, it just sounds so cool to me, you know, I really like it. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's basically the Tech Stab by JB Arthas. Not super complicated, just really, really cool in the way that it's done. And it's mostly that, you know, the VCO 2 being a third, an octave and a third off of VCO 1. That really kind of sets it off. And I really love this sound. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this sound. I hope you're enjoying the cookbook. We only got a few left. So as always, experiment, play around, have fun with it, see what you can come up with. Be a good person, and we'll catch you in the next one.